Thank you very much, Cindy, for such a warm introduction. I'm very honored to be here today to share how Black male achievement parallels with my personal growth and my professional career. Burten Carr Development Corporation, the organization that I proudly lead, is a community development corporation that serves the central and Kinsman neighborhoods of the city of Cleveland. They are the two poorest neighborhoods of the city of Cleveland, largely due to the concentration of public housing within them. About 5 years ago, 4 young men from the Garden Valley Estates, which is directly across the street from Burten Carr, was in our office to interview for a job. I asked them prior to their interview, had they heard about the redevelopment plan for Garden Valley? They said while they have heard about it, they had not seen the plan. So I pulled the plan, enthusiastically gathered them around the table in our lobby, and I outlined the plan in detail to them. I then asked them, what do you think about this plan? And their response took me back to how I felt about my neighborhood when I was their age, and what eventually led me to the field of community development. They said, we know that when people talk about Garden Valley, they talk about negative things that happen in it. They talk about a place that's run down. But Garden Valley is our home. It's where we live. It's where we grew up. And while your plans are great, they seem very exciting, to demolish our home for this, we have mixed feelings about that. I was born and raised in the Huff community of Cleveland. And like those 4 young men, I never embraced the negative conditions of my environment. Either I just overlooked it, or it was just invisible to me, because when I was growing up, my neighborhood was my paradise. In fact, it wasn't until I went away to college, came home, got acclimated to a new environment, came home, and for the very first time, saw my neighborhood from the eyes of a visitor, that I realized the degree of blight within my neighborhood. The overgrown grass, the vacancy, the devastation of the neighborhood, the downward spiral that it went through. And at that moment, I reflected on my earliest memories of my neighborhood, because it wasn't always that way. I remember about 3 years old, I'm running down the street with my siblings who were older than me, so they were walking. And I see a lot of people on my street, walking, talking across porches. Everyone seems to know each other. I remember it was a very vibrant day that day, and I just remember feeling a sense of joy. And I reflected on the day that I left to go to college. Every home on the opposite side of my street had been demolished, and only about 60% of the homes on my street, on my side of the street, still remained. And as I went through this reflection and awareness, I became angry. How could this happen? Because these streets, while they changed, they were my playground. It just meant for me, I could cut through East 82nd, get to my friend's house quicker, not looking at that vacant field as I looked at it the day that I sort of looked back on this change. And so at that time, I said to myself, I'm going to come home after I graduate from college, and I'm going to utilize my education in my community. I couldn't tell you what I was going to do exactly. I didn't know what really that meant. But I knew that that was my purpose. After I graduated from college, I landed my second job at the Cleveland Health Department, and we worked with community development corporations for one program to abate lead hazards from homes of lead-poisoned children. There was a street off of Miles that had 3 lead-poisoned children on that street, so we decided that we were going to channel a lot of resources to abate as many hazards from all of the homes, not just the 3 homes. It's about 12 homes on that street. And when I saw the transformation of that street with the new vinyl siding, the new landscaping, I knew that I had found my passion in the field of community development. So I went back to school, and you heard about the credentials that I garnered in order to do that. I did that, and within 2 years from that time, I graduated from grad school and landed the job at Burten Carr Development Corporation. So what I hope that you take away from this story is that many people that grow up in a dysfunctional environment don't even recognize the dysfunction within that environment. Like most everything, in order to think outside of the box, you have to spend some time outside of it. And had I not been on a path, a positive path, when I came to that realization, who knows where I would be today. Fortunately, I was in college, going to school, trying to get an education. Many of my friends, I'm sure, when they got to that point of realizing what our playground was, they were too cemented into a negative path to really make a big difference in their lives. So I think we all can agree that if our children can see it, they can do it. We know that they are a function of their environment. So I say to all of you that if we truly want to change what they're doing, if we truly want to change the trajectory of where they're headed, and if we truly want to change where they land as adults, then we have to change what they do and what they see on a daily basis. Thank you very much.